Hey crafters, and welcome to my channel Lisa Horton Crafts. And today I've been asked for this video so many times. We are going to talk about our amazing interference ink pads. Now these ink pads are so different to anything else that I have personally seen on the market. They are, I want to say, quite unique in what they do, as in when you pop them onto white cardstock and black cardstock, they do something so very different. I think you're going to love this because it almost gives you two ink pads in one. And when you lay colour down, you are going to be blown away by the changes that you get from one ink pad. It's just crazy. But the best way to describe them is shimmery. I don't know, they're quite magical. I tell you what we'll do. We're going to flick over to the overhead and I'm just going to take you through start to finish and let you see how wonderful they are. So the first thing I want to do is talk you through the ink pads. I've just picked out 4 here. Now there are 24 colours in the releases. There are 2 releases currently at the time of recording, but we are working on more colours. So let's have a look at these. Each one works exactly the same. So here we've got our Regal Grey, Summer Garden, Charcoal Gold and Ripe Mango. Now when you look at the top, you'll see left hand side is one colour, right hand side is the other. What you'd think is when you open this ink pad, it would have 2 colours inside, but it doesn't. It's the same here and for each one. But what it means is left hand is always, generally speaking, what it looks like on white cardstock. So we've got a grey here that would come out on white. And then we've got a pinky purple, which will come out on black. Now, it's very difficult to get it exact because different colour cardstock accepts ink in a different way. But we have 4 different colours here. And actually, in theory, we really have 8 because we now know on black cardstock, we're going to get pinky purple, blue, gold and green. So let's pick up some brushes and show you what I mean by that. First thing I would say as well is make sure you keep interference brushes separate from any other brushes you use. Now I tend to have a selection in one pot for interference and then I have a separate pot for my blending inks. Now let's have a look at why I say that. So you'll see, let me bring in one that isn't interference. So let's bring in this ink pad brush. Now this kind of the fibers separate quite a bit when you use the interference ink. Let me come down in the camera so it doesn't move too much. The fibers move and it's a little bit oilier in my opinion than our regular blending inks. And when you look at this brush, which is our kind of chalky based ink, these fibers are much closer together and they don't seem to distort as much. So keep separate brushes for what you're using. And here's another good example of the interference. So they separate again because of the dye and the pigment and the mica and everything else contained in those wonderful pads. So keep your blending separate from your interference. Now I'm going to just mark on my cardstock to make sure these are quite clean. Now that's got quite a lot of blue on it, so I'm going to keep blending that out until I've cleared that ink off, because what we don't want to do is make our ink a different colour than what it should be. So now I can see we're kind of almost gone with that ink. And then we'll rub that down like so. You see what I mean? Do this to all your brushes and you'll be able to pick out different colours with the same brush. So I will probably use this for the charcoal gold because I know that is a much darker brown. So let's leave that brush. See, it's getting lighter now. There's not a lot left. Look, I will leave that with that one. And this brush, let's have a look at this. This has got more of a green in it and I can actually see the interference in here. So I think I'm going to use this one here. This one is clearly a yellow, so we'll use that one there. And I don't think I have a grey, but let's have a look and see. That's not too bad. We'll use that one for this colour. So you can actually have your own brushes for each one if you want to. I'm just doing this to make life easy for myself just for today. So put all my brushes down here. Very, very well loved brushes. These are my stencil brushes and my chunky stencil brushes. They are also available on our website if you are interested in those, and they work beautifully for what we're going to do. So we have our black cardstock and we have our white cardstock. So I'm going to move these out of the way just quickly and leave our brushes over here. Doesn't matter about what kind of cardstock you use, really, you're still going to get these amazing effects. So the thing to learn about these is we take our ink. Now this is our Regal Grey, so it actually looks quite purple in there, but when you pop it on the white card, it comes out really grey. So it hasn't got the purpley tinge to it, has it? It's a lovely grey. Now, again, what you need to know, when you use these, they dry quickly. So when I do this now, you can see that has dried completely. That has dried completely and it's not blending. However, if we pick the ink up again and we go over to where we previously had the colour, you can almost like reignite that colour, and it starts to take on a blendable effect. So now all of this, when you go over the top, becomes a blendable ink. Can you see that? I hope you can see that now, and you'll see if I do that, they're blended perfectly, but you also get the purple shimmer. So when we use this on the white cardstock, we get the grey. But what I'll do is I'll go from grey over to this cardstock, and hopefully already you will pick up that is most definitely not grey. And if I swing that just like so, you'll see that is a beautiful, beautiful purple. Now I'm going to bring it here because this camera seems to be a little bit brighter. So that is your purple. Well, it's your Regal Grey on black. So it looks grey there. Turn it at a different angle and you get the purple. So that's your first colour. So we're going to do the same thing with the next colour. So we'll bring down the Summer Garden. Now remember, this is only 4 out of the 24 that we do. And I'll bring in the Summer Garden like so. Pop the lid here and we'll come in with our ink pad now and our brush. So we're going to go into the green, and again here, this looks a glorious green. Hang on, get some more ink on there, that's better. And it is beautiful. It's almost like it's quite limey green, but you can see it's dried. I'll do the same thing again, and we can reignite that colour to become a blendable piece. Keep going, and we can do exactly the same. So it's quite a unique ink. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to place the colour on the black. And I think you can actually pick up how blue that is compared to the green. So that's your first 2 colours. So this one is your Summer Garden Shimmer, and that is green and blue. So it's very tricky to get the colours correct on the packaging because they're so shimmery and shiny on your artwork. And let's go in with the next one. And the next one is our charcoal gold. So we'll use our darker brush because this is like a chocolate brown. Oh, it's a browny grey actually. It's very difficult to describe. Look, a tiny bit of ink and it's dried. Keep going. And that's because I'm putting a tiny amount of ink on. But if I dab the ink and I want more, we can do that. And you start to blend and blend and blend as much as you want. You can get so many cool effects. So that's on black. Sorry, that's on white cardstock. Now we bring it onto the black cardstock. And we've now got gold. So now what you can see is it's gold, It looks gold on both at the moment, but when I do that, you can see actually it isn't. It's a dark grey brown. So lots and lots of different tones coming through. And you can see now, even on these two, the purple's coming through and the blue's coming through as well. So they change colour amazingly. So I'm going to leave that one there, pop the lid back on this one, and then we'll come in with our final colour here, which we're using, which is our ripe mango shimmer. Exactly the same. Now this one is showing a ton of the mica. It's just beautiful. And when I move this around, you can see it all moves. Some do it, some don't. It just depends on what colour you're using. Now again, we'll go here, and this is your mango. Dries out. We come down again. There we go. Now we'll pop it onto black. And you probably can't see a lot yet with this one, but this one is green. But I will lift this up for you and show you that. Oh, actually you can see that. It just needs a minute to dry. So now we've got grey, brown, green, orange, and we have gold, blue, purple, and green from 4 different ink pads. The other thing you can do with these is you can use these with your layering stencils. So if you have any of our sets, you can absolutely do all your different layers with the interference inks on white card and the same on black card and get some very, very clever looks. The other thing you can do, which is very cool, if I push that to one side just for a second, is you could take a piece of black card, for example, and then potentially you will have this in your stash, but if not, you can get it from us. This is our masking tape. Now our masking tape has been cut out using our A2 rectangles, and I've just taken one of the rectangles and I've cut out the aperture. And what we can do now is peel the back of the masking tape. Hopefully it won't be too tricky on camera. Nope, there we go. Peel the back of the masking, and we will pop this just down somewhere on our card. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I would say trim it out afterwards. You can now use your inks to do your blending. So what we can do is bring back these inks and do some different things. So what I'm going to do is use one of the bigger brushes, and this was with the charcoal gold. And we will pop the ink in random places on this piece of card. I'm not even trying to make it symmetrical match. I'm just going to be random all over it and just add your ink. And maybe if I put a little bit more ink, it will spread a little bit further. So I'm just doing circular motions, and obviously it dries quite quickly, but when you get your next layer on, it will go a lot faster. So now there's a few bits of colour here. Look at that. I'm not even worrying about where this ink's going. So this is kind of that goldy brown colour. And the next we're going to use is our Summer Garden. And this obviously is not going to be green. It's going to be blue. And let's mix those in with the other colours. So this is now going to mix in with gold. But what it would do, it will then, I don't know what happens, but when you mix the 2 interference colours together, it gives you a third colour. So for example here, I'm seeing a little purple coming through very bizarrely, but it looks good. And just add a little bit around the edges. Just make sure you cover all your areas. So that is your very strange looking Summer Garden shimmer, but don't worry, when we get them all together, you'll see how cool they look. So now we're going to go with the Regal Grey, and obviously this isn't going to be grey. This is going to be that gorgeous purple. It's kind of a pinky purple. And then we'll come down here, mix these colours in beautifully. And don't stress where the ink goes. As long as you've covered the whole piece, it's going to look great. And when you look at it now, you're probably thinking, what a hot mess she's created here. But I haven't, I promise you, I haven't. So we're going to leave that like that. Actually, I might bring in just a little bit of purple, just there, against that blue. And then we will pop the lid on that one and bring in our final colour, which is our beautiful ripe mango. And the ripe mango is going to be very, very green against the yellow and the purple. But I'm not going to worry again about where I'm going. And it's easy, this last layer, simply because we've already got colour underneath. And then when you now start to blend it all together, it looks super cool. So the other thing you can do is you can still do faux bleaching. So if I wanted to flick water on here and do my faux bleaching techniques, I absolutely could do that. But I'm quite happy with how that looks, bizarrely. And then all we do is we gently peel back. I'm going to peel this slowly, just so you can see. And this masking tape is so good. It doesn't tear your card. And also you can use it more than once. Let's lift that off. Obviously you'll need to pop it straight onto your card rather than being at a slight angle like I am. And you'll do this with maybe a larger piece of card and then cut it down to what you want it to be. And pull that off. And now when we do that, it's better to see it like this. Let me do that. We've now got a beautiful, beautiful background. See that? How cool does that look? If you want to, you can do some spritzing. So I might actually get a mister and lift some of that colour off just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to take a mister bottle and I'm going to take the lid off my mister bottle. And actually, I would have normally left the masking tape on for this technique, but I just want you to see both ways of working with it. And I'm just going to take my bottle and I'm going to drop some of the water onto this piece of art. Or, you know, well, it will be a piece of art if you've lined it up correctly and it's looking nice and straight. So leave that like so. And then all we do is we take a piece of kitchen towel and we lay it down and we pop it on like so. And we lift it off and you can start to see, hopefully, some of the colour lifting. And then you can go back in again and add more water. It will show on probably the blue and other colours more than it will the gold, I would think, because the camera might not pick it up properly. But you can see it's still continuing to lighten around those areas. So you can still do all of your techniques with this, which is pretty amazing, really, considering that these are a metallic ink pad. And I can see it's pulled some colour off already. But I'm going to leave that maybe a little bit longer, maybe a couple more seconds, and see what other colour we can get to lift out of this. And pull back. That's looking better. So just take your time with it and you can now see you can do some of your wonderful techniques with it as well. Now, other than this, I mean, obviously that's a great way to use them. It's great to use them with your layering stencils as well. But don't forget, we also have re-inkers in the collection. So why do you need re-inkers when these are so juicy? You need the re-inkers because, again, they're going to be great for your techniques. When you buy re-inkers, what you'll find is they will come like this and you get a lid. And then when you take the white lid off, inside, let's do it and show you. You take that, just twist that off. This actually isn't one of these colours, but it just shows you when you take this lid off, you have the top, and then you can remove the top. I tend to use a little craft knife to take it off perfectly. And then you also get, here you get your lid, and inside you get your nozzle. So all you're going to do, I won't do it now, but you'll see what I mean. You will take this off, you will take this piece and you will place it inside, and you will give it a really good firm press. And then you will discard this lid if you want to, and you will then use your black lid, because obviously it will sit inside with your nozzle. Mine won't screw on because I haven't pierced the top, but you'll see what I mean. That then becomes your perfect re-inker. Alongside that, it's worth noting they have ball bearings in the bottom, and I'm going to give it a shake so you can hear. Sometimes what you need to do is bang them on the desk, because the amount of mica in the bottom holds the ball bearing. So you can tap it, and then you can hear the ball bearing. So make sure all your ink is mixed, and then you can use these on a palette if you want to. So you could squeeze some onto a palette, add a little bit of water, do some flicking techniques with it. You could put it onto an acrylic block. You could put the water on it, and then you could take the acrylic block and stamp with it so you get some smooshy backgrounds. That's another way of using your re-inkers. But also the re-inkers mix great with pastes, and you're going to be able to use them to colour all your gel mediums and all your texture pastes. So just a few ideas of how you can use the re-inkers. But the main start of the show today was just to show you how these wonderful, wonderful colours work on black and white cardstock. Now let me bring in our scraps of paper. So on the white card, we had the 4 colours, which we had grey, brown, green and orange, which translated into purple, blue, wrong way around, purple, blue, gold and green. So if I move those colours, you can see how beautifully they work. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into our interference ink pads, how they work and some of the things you can do with them. They're going to be really good if you have layering stencils. And I would also recommend, let me grab mine, excuse my arm, would make yourself a little swatch book. And what we've done here is created a swatch book of Interference Inks Release 2, and that's going to give you a very clear idea about what the colours are. So the charcoal gold that we've just used, which is the grey and the gold, pop it down here and I know exactly what I'm going to get. And there's that regal grey that we spoke about. So the grey on white and the colour when it's on your black cardstock. Here's our summer garden, the green and the blue. And then we also had our ripe mango again here, and you can see how the colours change when you use them on black on white cardstock. Now don't forget to try them on different colour cards as well, because you do get different tones come out of them. You can use them on any colour you like, but they do have the most magical wow effect when you use them on black card. Remember, you can stamp with them. I would definitely say, if it were me, I would be using these on my layering stencils to create my backgrounds, to do some smooshing, to a little bit of colouring, and genuinely to get some really, really cool effects. So I hope that's helped you. If you're on the fence or unsure about how to use them, please leave a comment below. If there's anything you need to know, anything I haven't covered, anything you want me to do, happy to do so. But please leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you've got any. Let me know how you've used them. And please come and join our group, Crafting with Lisa Horton, on Facebook. And we would love to see anything you have made with these wonderful, wonderful inks. So take care, have a fabulous day, and we will see you on the next video.